I'm Richard Ray, and joining me now is Nick Marini. I think you might recognize this guy from the Netflix hit Cobra Kai. That has been a huge hit for you guys. He's also playing a key role in a lead, in fact, in the psychological thriller Night Night, set to come out this fall. Nick, thanks for joining us. And how does a guy, a young actor having success like you, how do you choose your next project? How did you choose this one?
Well, this came to me actually through a friend of mine, the editor I went to college with, and they were looking to cast some roles, and so I was actually on vacation in Australia and had to shoot this little self tape in my girlfriend's uncle's uh, what was it? It was like his laundry and dryer room. So we were squeezed in there just sometimes you have a nice setup and sometimes you're in someone's laundry room.
Got to work with what you got, right?
Exactly.
Well, tell me, as a old guy who's pretty new to this business, any advice for aspiring actors or filmmakers?
Well, I think one is you just have to be patient. It is, there are times where it feels like things are moving at 1,000 miles an hour, and then there are times where you're like, I could do anything and not get arrested, is what we often say. It's like, but I think commitment, dedication, time, it's a marathon.
Just stick at it.
Just stick at it.
Well, tell me about them for those people who don't know the plot of Night Night. Of course, I do. I've read it, has a small part in it, but tell folks what it's about. What kind of movie is it?
It's a psychological thriller. Um, and it's sort of, it starts from a sort of tragic incident that I think only gets more complicated and tragic as things move on.
How did you prepare for it? Because you had a tough, interesting role. How did you prepare
Yeah.
your character?
So I actually, to be honest, had very little time to prepare. Um, I was ready to play a different role in the script actually, um, and there were some changes and some things happened, and so I think I had 2 days before my first scene to know that I was playing Robert. So I really took an approach of just trying to just let myself just trust myself in the role, and also I felt like the character was someone who needed to maybe be in a couple places at the same time often.
What about working with Niki Caro? She's done a lot of directing in the past, but this is her first feature film. Did you enjoy working with Niki as a director on this?
Yeah, I felt a lot of freedom. I felt freedom as an actor to play, and I thought she did a fantastic job. And she literally had to direct a scene from a hospital bed because we were shooting in a hospital, and she had some gluten which she's allergic to, and so she was literally directing from her own hospital bed. So you gotta give it to her. She put her heart and soul into it.
As I've been doing these interviews, a lot of the cast members and the crew have talked about what a close knit group of people it was, how everybody really did work as a team. Talk about working with Brenna and some of the other great actors and actresses.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was just a fantastic time. I mean, we were in Corsicana, Texas. So no shade on Corsicana, but not a lot to do when you're coming from New York or LA, comparatively. But I think that really lent it to us really bonding and having a lot of fun. Most of the people were there for the duration of the shoot. So we when we weren't working, we were either preparing or having a lot of fun.
You shared some scenes with Eric Roberts, of course, one of the biggest names in the cast. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I thought struck me as a really lovely thing is I think for someone who's worked so often, and as someone who, him, and as someone who aspires to be as prevalent and you know as I can be. One of the things that I really noticed about Eric was that there was one of the gaffers, I believe it was, he had worked with him before, and Eric instantly recognized him. They had a conversation, and it was just like that to me, was really important. You hear stories about stars being this way or that way, and just to see one coworker at any level, at the level that Eric is, just say to another coworker like, "Hey, like we work together. What's up? How you been? Yada yada." It was just like that to me was a real path to follow.
You're working on a psychological thriller. Obviously, you're going to be shooting in unique and maybe even creepy locations. Where was the most interesting place you shot in this film?
The most interesting place we shot, I would have to say we do towards the end. There are some gnarly scenes in a basement, and I have some pretty intense scenes in that basement, and spent a lot of time in that basement while everyone else was eating lunch, just sort of preparing. So that might have been the creepiest, just sitting alone in that gigantic basement.
Any ghost stories come out of this?
Well, I know one of the houses that people were staying in had plenty of ghost stories attached to it, but I hope they didn't follow us home.
Did that help you get into the sort of psychological, creepy scenes you need?
Oh, for sure, for sure. When you're already sort of on edge being in a place, it definitely lends itself to the art.
Okay, I know you had a lot of fun moments, but before we leave, is there like one really kind of fun story you want to share about shooting night in Corsicana, Texas?
Let's see. I think. Well, what was so fun about Corsicana is how welcoming everyone was. But I did get to shoot some scenes. Well, I don't want to give anything away either. Let me think about this for a second. No, I mean, I think some of the most fun scenes were actually the scenes where I wasn't a major part, because I really got to watch the other actors work. There's one scene in particular in a hospital, where Taylor Gray has a really emotional scene, and they had to make some last minute changes to the scene right before he shot, so he'd been really thrown in, and just getting to watch him take it all in stride and deliver what I thought was an exceptional performance was really fun to just be sort of in a corner watching that all unfold.
Okay, night's in the can for you. What else are you working on these days? You got other projects going forward?
I'm working on a short film right now. Whenever Cobra Kai comes calling, I will always answer the call. I play a great little role on that. And right now, just trying to get some projects off the ground and auditioning. It's the actor's life.
Well, okay, before we leave, also, if folks want to follow what you're doing with Cobra Kai or Night or other projects, what's the best way to follow you on social media?
Nick A. Marini is my Instagram account, and that's definitely the best way to get in contact with me, for sure.
If you want more on the film, check it out at nightmovie.com. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you so much.